Hello and welcome to Numeristical. Major League Baseball opening day is tomorrow. Technically, actually there were a couple games last week between the Dodgers and Padres in Korea, but the rest of the teams are all starting their season tomorrow, and we've got 15 games on tap. I have been spending the last several weeks getting my models recalibrated and also ready to actually make predictions live. So I've been getting all the data into databases. I've been learning how to use APIs to get up-to-date information on all the games. And so I've really built out a prediction system. And my goal this season is to document my journey of trying to make some picks and see how well machine learning can do. And this is really with the idea of showing that machine learning can do a really great job at predicting precise probabilities in this sort of complicated world of Major League Baseball. I'm going to be making picks, and I'm going to be documenting my picks. I don't actually bet on them. I live in California, which is a state where there's no sports betting, so it's actually hard for me to put them in play. But I'm going to be sharing them with all of you, and I'm going to be documenting them and making these videos, in advance, so you can see that I made these picks, well before the game. And I'm going to be pretending that I'm actually betting on them and documenting these picks. So I hope you'll join me for this journey. I think it's going to be really fun to try to prove out that how effective machine learning can be for this kind of situation. So let's get into the games for today and talking a little bit about the model. So the first thing I want to share is the calibration plot, the reliability diagram for the model that I built for the sides. So when I was picking which team is going to win, this is a reliability diagram showing my predicted probability and the actual probability that was realized. And these error bars show kind of the 95% range of what you'd expect to happen just based on normal variation. And so you can see this model is quite well calibrated. All the dots are very close to the line, as you can see, with the exception of maybe this one and this one and this one, but those are places where we have very little data. So for the most part, this reliability diagram looks really good. Looks like this model is quite accurate, and this is based on 3 seasons worth of predictions. So actually I built the model using 2019 and before, and then used it to predict 2021, 22, and 23. And these were the results I got. And I also simulated some betting out, and the model was profitable across the 3 seasons. So I'm pretty happy with that. So let's get into now this season and what we've got. So I'm able to pull up very easily now all the games on tap for tomorrow. So you see we've got 15 games numbered 0 to 14 on the left. And these are the teams, the starting pitchers, and my model's probability for the home team. So you see the probabilities range from, you have some very strong favorites, such as the Dodgers at home against the Cardinals, and the Diamondbacks at home against the Rockies. These are both very strong favorites. You also see, surprisingly, you've got a home team. The White Sox are actually a big underdog against the Detroit Tigers. So the Tigers are about 63%. And so then in this next column, straight line home, this just means if I was 100% sure of my model, if I knew we were actually going to flip a coin based on this probability, I would bet any odds better than this, and it would be profitable if I was absolutely sure that my model was 100% right. Now, of course, I don't have that confidence in the model, and you want to have some sort of an edge to build in to sort of have some profitability. So for this model, again, using back testing and so forth, I arrived at a desired edge of 4%. So in other words, I think my model says for this game, the probability is going to be 52%. If I could bet at an implied probability of 48%, which is what this number is, 108, then I'd be willing to take that bet. So next we see the Angels and Orioles, for example. Model thinks that the Orioles at home are a pretty strong favorite. almost 60%. So I'd be willing to bet the Orioles if I could get a line of minus 125 or better. Or I would take the Angels at plus 175 or better, and so forth. So we've got it for all 15 games, both sides, what bets we'd be willing to take. So the next thing we need to do is actually get what are the live odds. So I did some work to start by pulling out the DraftKings odds. Now DraftKings is usually not the best odds available, but what I've done is I've used this just to screen away the games that are, not even close. They're not going to be close enough to even consider betting. So for most of the games, the model's probability is going to be pretty aligned with the Vegas odds. And so with their VIG, there's not going to be a favorable bet in there. So if my model is pretty close to the Vegas model, there's not going to be anything to bet. So what I've done is I've taken the DraftKings odds just to give a rough screen to say, here are things that I might be able to find a good enough bet in, either with the DraftKings odds or it's close enough that maybe one of the other odds makers will offer a bet that meets my criteria, which is that I have enough of an edge compared to my model's prediction. So here we see it's narrowed it down to 6 games. The first 5 are home teams and the last one's an away team. So for the Braves-Phillies, it's saying bet the Phillies if you can get odds of 113.4 or better. So DraftKings is offering 105, but maybe there's somebody out there offering 115 plus 115, and then that would make this a good bet according to this model and the edge that I specified. Next, we've got the Giants and the Padres. It likes the Padres if I can get minus 112. If I can get basically better than even money. And right now, DraftKings is giving minus 112. The Padres are actually a slight favorite. So we'll have to look to see. This is probably going to be harder to get better than even money, given that the Padres are the favorite here. Next, we have the Blue Jays and the Rays. And model thinks the Rays are 60%. So it's saying, bet if you can get minus 127 or better, then to take the Rays. And right now, DraftKings is giving minus 135, so it's close. So if somebody else is offering minus 125 or better, we would take that bet. Next, the Twins and the Royals. The model actually has the Royals as a slight favorite and says, therefore, if you can get even money or better, to take the Royals. And here you can see that Las Vegas has the Twins as the favorite. And so DraftKings is actually offering even money. So we would take that, but we're actually going to look to see if we can even get better odds than that. Next, we got the Guardians and the Athletics. The Athletics are a slight underdog, 48%. But the model is saying, hey, if you can get them at 126.8 or better, it's a good bet. And in fact, DraftKings is already offering 136. So we're going to, again, look at some other bookmakers, see if we can get even better odds than that. And the last one to consider is the Angels against the Orioles. The Orioles are a heavy favorite, 60%, 59.5%. But the model is saying if you can get the Angels at plus 175, it's worth taking. And DraftKings is offering 160. So again, it's close enough that we should check to see if we can find some odds that meet this criteria. So let's go and look at an odds aggregator. So this is Wager Talk. This is one of many odds aggregators out there. I like this one because it's free and you don't even need to log in or make an account or anything. It's just open. So, and you can see 10:30 a.m. That's the time it is now in California. That's when I'm sort of placing these bets, so to speak, and these odds are being updated live. So let's take a look at what we want. So again, the Phillies, we're looking to see if we can get plus 115 or better. Whoops. And let's go to the Atlanta Phillies. That's this row here, and you see there's one bookmaker offering. Actually, there's one over here called Bookmaker, they're offering plus 116. So we're going to mark that down as a bet. We're going to take the Phillies plus 116 on Bookmaker right now. Next, we're going to look at the Padres, and we want to see if we could get, we need to get better than even money on the Padres. So looking at these odds, you see we are not able to get even money on the Padres. In fact, these even monies are actually for betting on the Giants because the Padres are the favorite here. So so we're not going to be able to take that bet. Rays and the Blue Jays, we're looking to get better than minus 127 on the Rays. And here, let's see what we can get. We can get minus 126. So we can get just better. So let's take that. We're going to take the Rays at minus 126, again on Bookmaker. Next up, we want to look at the Royals and see if we can get better than even money, which we should be able to get because DraftKings is offering even money. So let's take a look at the Royals. And you see we could get plus 110 at open. And there's several places offering better than even money, circles at plus 105. But so we'll take this open at plus 110 for the Royals. Next, the Cleveland Guardians versus the Oakland Athletics. Again, Athletics are an underdog according to the model, but not as bad as everyone else seems to think, at least at Vegas. So it's saying bet at 126.8 or better. DraftKings is already offering 136. Let's see if we can do even better. So here you see South Point's offering 147. So we'll take the A's at plus 147. The last one to consider is the Angels versus the Orioles. It's saying actually take the Angels if you can get basically plus 175 or better. So let's see if we can. The Angels are up here. You see plus 150, 164, 167, but we're not getting to 175. So we're not going to take this bet, although it's close. So it looks like we have 4 bets that I've written down right here. We got the Phillies at plus 116, the Rays at minus 126, the Royals at plus 110, and the Athletics at plus 147. Next, I want to look at betting totals. So when we look at betting totals, one thing I just want to show just for fun to start is here are for the 30 teams playing today, here are the model's distributions of their run totals. And it's these distributions that we're going to use to come up with the distributions for the whole game. So we scroll down over here. You'll see we've got a similar data frame with got a data frame here with the same games, pitchers, and then also the odds from DraftKings, again for the under and the over, and the different points that they're offering. So what's the number that they're doing over and under against? So we've got for each one, what's the line that we would bet for over and under, given the point specified, and we're gonna. What I've calculated here is the probabilities, and what we really want to look at to compare to the line is what's the probability ignoring the push. So if it's a half-point line, we don't have to worry about pushes. The model's always going to predict either over or under. When there's a push, what you want to do is sort of ignore the push and reweight the probabilities of just over and under. So conditional on it not being a push, what's the over probability or the under probability? And from those, and factoring in our edge, in this model we need a bigger edge. We're going to put in about a 10% edge. What do we, which side will be willing to bet on, and with which odds? So again, I'm going to screen this down. Now, one thing about over-unders is that typically the bets are always going to be somewhere between sort of even money and minus 130. It'll never be sort of more than that. If the odds stray from that range, usually they would then adjust the point itself to keep the odds within that range. So as a quick filter, so that we don't have to look at all 15 of these games one by one, we're going to just look at the ones where, where it's close, where the model thinks that it's more than 55% one way or the other. And again, going through these, you'll see, for example, on the Brewers, it's saying, I'd bet the under at plus 114, but I'm not going to get that. Or bet this one at plus 111. These are the closest ones. You'll see it's never saying to bet anything at a negative line. So the closest ones, and this is again according to DraftKings, so I pulled out the ones that were at least close to for DraftKings to then see if maybe one of the other bookmakers has something even more competitive. But looking at these, none of these are particularly close, even with the filter. So I think the ones we should check are probably this one, the Rockies at 111, and the Brewers, not the Rockies, the over in the Rockies game at 111, and the under in the Mets-Brewers game. And really what we're going to look for is to see if the point has changed, if anybody's offering a better point. So for the Mets, we want to bet the under. So we're looking to see if anybody's offering 8 or better on the point. And for the Rockies, we want to bet the over. So we're looking to see if anybody's offering an 8 point or better. So let's go again back to our screener. So the first one was the Mets game, and you see everybody's offering 7.5 across. So we're not going to find anybody that's going to put out an 8 number. And then if you look at the Rockies, we're looking to bet the over. You see there are a couple people offering 8, but it's at minus 130. And if you do out that calculation, you see that we still don't like that bet. And I'll also say that there's another issue with that I know about the model with the Rockies on the road, that my model tends to favor the over, kind of unrealistically. So I wouldn't actually trust the model for over-unders, for betting overs when Colorado is on the road. And that's sort of a subtle point that has to do with the fact that Rockies pitchers kind of look bad to the model because they spend all their time in Colorado. So even though you can adjust for the ballpark itself, unless you actually go back and correct the history of their pitching, it's going to make those pitchers look bad. So that's one minor snafu in the model that I know is there. So for that reason, I would probably not want to bet overs when Colorado's on the road. So it looks like we're not going to bet any over-unders. We're just going to bet these 4 money line bets today. Thanks for watching. I'm going to try to do this every day, or at least as frequently as I can, to update predictions, give some explanations. I also want to create some more content around some really interesting insights that come out of this modeling, both about baseball and about sort of betting in general. So I hope you'll join me for that. I'm really excited for the season, and I hope to see you watching the next video.